Evening, folks. Brian here, Geomagnetic Earth Watch, Friday, February 14, 2025. Yes, I'm wearing one of my shirts, so you know it's going to be one of these talks. I don't think it's going to be too long. We'll see. Let's do a review over the last 2 years, what's been happening on our planet. So in the past 2 years, there has been a substantial increase in the earth-changing conditions and events, only to accelerate. There has absolutely been an increase in heat at Earth's volcanoes and where the Earth's crust is thinnest, the oceanic crusts, plates. This data is also being sanitized or removed, such as the large spread on the edge of the Polynesian islands have been deleted, as an example. Earthquakes, folks. There has been a substantial increase over the past 2 years in diverse places, new locations where we normally don't have earthquakes, and a great increase in deep earthquakes, as well as earthquake swarms. A lot more earthquake swarms now. The USGS reporting. I understand that they're doing a new format of reporting. So while I'm doing the notes for this video here, I decided to check. And their count of magnitude 2.5 and above over the past 48 hours, globally, they say has been only 35. On my app that I have, it includes 47 reporting agencies. The USGS is not the only one and the less trustworthy. In my app, in the past 24 hours, there have been 304 magnitude 2.5 and above earthquakes. Do you trust the USGS? Volcanism. There's been a substantial increase in volcanism. So the daily average, up until recently, used to be around 45, 47, sometimes 50 active or erupting volcanoes. That used to be the yearly count. Now, recently, there have been days where there's been 101, either erupting, active, or in a state of unrest. Yes, there has been an increase in volcanism. So once again, if the outer core is expanding, resulting in heat trying to rise and break through the lithosphere is that which the crust sits upon, and the oceans. It's going to find that heat, that pressure, that energy through Earth's volcanoes and fissures, cracks in the crust, such as the oceans. So when it comes to thinking about your safe locations, it's not just stay away from the coastal areas. And I've been saying this other one for quite a while now. Know your volcanic areas. I'm not going to do it for you. Go to Google, do your own research. Volcanoes in my area. Do your own geological surveys. Take a look for yourself. In my area, for example, in British Columbia, we have 199 known volcanoes and related features. Very young for volcanism. The last eruption was 150 years ago, Siax Cone, northwest British Columbia. 2,000 native Indians perished during that eruption. Just one example. Now for another one. There has been a global increase in sulfur dioxide emissions. You can get sulfur dioxide leakage, emissions, not just from volcanoes, but from fissures or cracks in the crust. I'm talking again, the ocean floors. So I've been saying for quite a few years now, we are first going to see indications where the crust is thinnest, which is the oceanic crust, average of 6 kilometers thick. Then we're going to start seeing indications on the continental shelves where the thickness steps up. Then the coastline where the thickness steps up again. Then finally continentals. So ocean crust, very thin. Continental crust picks up. Coastal lines, continents. Next, the fog. Most of the world's volcanoes and fissures are at the ocean floors. Once again, where the crust is thinnest, pardon me. When you mix sulfur dioxide with water, you end up getting sulfuric acid. Acid rain, or acid fog, acid mist. You see, sulfur dioxide, or sulfuric acid, smells like a sharp, acrid smell that is often compared to, listen to this, burnt rubber or a mix of rotten eggs and charred matches. I'm going to give you a moment to think about that. A sharp, acrid smell that is often compared to burnt rubber or a mix of rotten eggs and lit matchsticks. Does that sound familiar? Are the bells going off now? Sulfuric acid dissolves in the water present in the air and can remain suspended in the mist for varied periods of time. The sulfuric acid can remain suspended in the air, in the mist. What is fog? Until it is dispersed through rainfall, acid rain. It can also have a metallic-like scent. Fine droplets of sulfuric acid can irritate the respiratory system. So once again, when sulfuric acid, which is the result of sulfur dioxide mixed with seawater, creates sulfuric acid, interacts with the moisture in the air, and forms irritating mists. So when I did my video of the global spread of SO2 clouds, it was actually confined from the equatorial regions up into the northern hemisphere. The northern hemisphere is now in the winter solstice, coming out of it. You cluing in? if you have an increased pressure from the outer core expansion because of the electromagnetic connection with the larger celestial body cell, exerting its pressure up through the mantle plumes to the underside of the lithosphere in which we walk upon and our oceans are, you're going to have increased volcanism. Remember the 3,600-year timeline of catastrophic volcanic eruptions each and every time. The last one was 3,625 years ago, Santorini. The one before then, 7,300 years ago, Kekei volcano, southern Japan, and so on. And why do you think they want to restrict public access to all the data which shows us these signs? Jet streams, such as I show you each week, they are really concerning to me. Because it's going to result in more severe and destructive weather events, accelerated wind events. It's going to disrupt our growing cycles, resulting in massive crop losses, contributing to famines. More destructive storm events. The winds will become more intense. More cyclones, stronger cyclones, more low pressure systems, more cosmic rays, muon penetration through the crust, more volcanism. Next, near-Earth asteroids, changing the percentage of whichever one they're talking about in 2029, another one 2032. Oh, then it was a 2-point-somewhat% chance of hitting Earth. Now I read an article, it's now a 43% chance of hitting Earth, and etc. These things are expected ahead of planet. I do not like making predictions on what area the planet is going to be next. However, I do have my eyes on the area on West Africa, from Cabo Verde, Canary Islands, Azores, Strait of Gibraltar. Lots of submarine volcanoes, lots of volcanic islands, lots of fissures in the bottom of the ocean floors. Another thing I want you to think about, there's a term called lithospheric melting. So again, those mantle plumes connected to the outer core of their planet, mantle plume tail, mantle plume head, comes to the underside of the lithosphere, causes what's called lithospheric melting, thinning of the lithosphere. The lithosphere is the final layer of the Earth in which the crust sits upon. I would like to suggest that this is going to result in the depletion of our water reserves, aquifers, wells. A lot of people don't think about our water. We take it for granted. And finally, they need to keep us distracted from all these earth-changing conditions and events through the ongoing orchestrated distractions. On one hand, pay attention for more orchestrated distractions. On the other hand, ignore them. They know what's coming. They have to keep us unaware, dumbed down, too busy. You are working for their survival, not ours. And finally, folks, you should think about seeking out your own tribes. People around your hemisphere, close to you. A lot of us within our own families do not believe us. They laugh at us, they ridicule us. They do not support us, they do not want to prepare. Me, for example, I know there's quite a few people to the north of me, Salmon Arm region, directly in my neighborhood, a couple of streets up, Peachland, Penticton, Osoyoos, Oliver. Seek people out, connect with them. Call them your support group. Those who don't believe in you are not invited. So yes, over the past 2 years, there's been a great increase in everything I just covered. Before I started Geomagnetic Earthwatch, I was one of the lead contributors in 8 Grand Solar Minimum Geomagnetic Reversal Forum. Then I broke away. I'm actually still their administrator. But then I broke away and started my own group. There's a reason why the Deagle Report organization, which is a private intelligence organization that reports to the National Security Agency, the U.S. government, and the Fortune 500, substantial population reductions by year 2025. I personally believe has everything to do with the incoming system. I don't think it's a forecast. I think it's a targeted hit list. Just like the former Georgia Guidestones, calling for a manageable population number of only 500,000 people on the planet. I don't think it's a prediction tool. They issued that out in 2014, then they removed it from their website in 2021 during the when a lot of people started connecting the dots. There's reasons why people like a certain person says that the next pandemic is going to be by 2025 and it's going to be 10 times worse than the last one. There's a certain reason why another certain person says that the next major cyber attack, also affecting the internet, will be by 2025. There's a reason why a U.S. Air Force general says that there will be a war with China by 2025. There's a reason why they say, and they've been saying it for a few years, it's not new news, that the actual seamount will erupt by 2025, and the list goes on for 2025. Because I think they know or have refined the timeline of the intersection of the system coming in. And most certainly, as I have just finished going through all the list of the earth changes and conditions, is suggesting outside interference. 19 minutes, 25 seconds. Thank you for listening.